I used to have such a hard time beating the extreme AI. But then I realized, if I suck, why am I using units that take skill to control? I am going to show you a simple way to beat the extreme AI in Age of Empires 2. Welcome to Noobs Only. I'm Paragon RG. I've played against AI quite a lot in this game. It took me a while to beat hardest. The jump from hard to hardest is actually pretty big, and even longer to beat the extreme AI. The first time I beat the extreme AI was with the Persian douche, but I was probably overthinking most of it. So welcome to part 1 of how to beat the extreme AI. The plan? Make only swordsmen. The challenge? Use a civilization that is terrible at making swordsmen. Let's jump right into a replay. And as always, if you want more content like this, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what you'd like to see. This is pretty straightforward. Let's just pop to the full map for a minute, and we can see the extreme AI is up here. Things look okay. Got a nice back wood line. My gold is forward. We will make that work. So let's keep an eye on things that go well and things that don't go well. So, you know, watch me get house blocked. Let's see if my resources spike. Let's see if I am not producing villagers or units at any given time. I think it's good to point out the flaws because I am not a particularly high elo player, but I can beat the extreme AI with the simplest unit in the game. All right, get the scout. Good stuff. Okay, so things are pretty normal. Let's just go to normal speed for a minute. Barracks is going up front. I've got a couple on gold, and I'm going up to the feudal age. So we should see me starting to make a militia any second now, and ideally I would have even done it earlier. And here we go. So it begins. If we look at what the AI is up to. So I am actually behind in villagers, which is interesting. Maybe they didn't get loom? No, they did get loom. So there must have been some idle time. Maybe I got house blocked. And I did click up a little earlier, so we'd expect me to be a little behind in villagers. So they have a barracks going up. I hit the feudal age here. And off we go. So this should... Third one is coming out, and I will probably go after 3 are created. The second barracks is going up, trying to keep making houses. So at this point, the plan is basically all in feudal age, right? I'm not trying to do anything cleverer than that. I will probably upgrade to men-at-arms in a second here. Hopefully around when I hit the AI. They're actually putting up a tower already, which is kind of interesting. All right, so deal with this bear before I get to them. The tower is going up. Let's get my fog of war back on. So I don't actually know that is there yet. It looks like I did actually grab a couple sheep, so maybe that's let's put a little asterisk beside this. I don't think I intended on laming, but I encountered some sheep somewhere up here and thought, why not? So maybe next time I would avoid doing that because that did presumably hurt the AI. So I think I used them well for a bit and then it probably falls apart, as is normal. So remember, even just pushing them off resources is fine, right? The plan is basically to keep them alive and keep causing problems. Quite a few farms going up for me. I've got 2 lumber camps going. These have hit men-at-arms, which is nice. We'll see if I get any villager kills. Cool, so hit them, walk away a bit. That's fine, that's okay. That guy's got very little health. Got him. All right, so a couple villagers down. And a bunch of idle time earlier. Would already call this a success, though ideally we keep these alive. Now, a couple of archers are coming out. And we are producing more men-at-arms. So wood is spiking a little bit here. Hopefully that can be turned into farms any second now. I pull away a bit, trying to keep these alive. That's fine, and I have more over here. You can see the scout is alive and is being shot. Hopefully I notice that any second now. There we go. So they can't, like, you know, they will actually kite reasonably well, the AI, when they're near their own town center. So there's not a ton I can do about this archer with infantry. I do get an extra villager kill. keeping these alive a little bit longer. I do know the tower's here now. Hopefully these guys can get a little more active and go find something. So this isn't the hottest play from me. Again, wood is higher than I would like it to be. So ideally that could be farms, maybe even one more on gold. And if we have the extra wood, we can always go for 3 barracks. So now at this point, what is that, 6 archers? Not much I can do here. Okay, so they're going to push me back. If resources were spent better, sure, it's possible I could have more units. So we come home. So this is the first point. I get pushed back, right? My hope was an all-in feudal. I'm still planning on doing that. My current setup, like, yes, I have a good number of farms. I could go to Castle Age if I wait for the resources. That's not the plan. So I'm trying to keep it real stupid. Let's mass infantry. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that's going to... So they show up with a bunch of archers here. And something I could do at this point is basically let them shoot my buildings for a while I build up units. I'm trying not to do that, okay? So I'm trying not to abuse the AI in any particular way. So you'll see that without proper kiting, they can't really deal with my units. So I do pull some back a little bit here. At this point, though, they have a lot of skirmishers. I don't know why. And these units will take care of those pretty nicely. We see I do have my upgrades of the Blacksmith. That's super important. And there is a 3rd barracks going up. I know I'm in front of where the score would be. We can see I have a slight score lead. Couple hundred points. Pretty sure I waste these units. I do split them up a little bit here. I'm hoping to find a way to get some damage. And I say, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's run in. And I am getting house blocked in the meantime, which is not ideal. And producing units not totally consistently. So this is a big blow to the AI here. And I'm now 600, 700, 600 points ahead. Okay, so something to note is during some of these battles, some of it's me just not micromanaging properly. In other cases, I just decide, let them go. Okay, I'm trying not to overplay this game, right? The purpose is to show pretty simple gameplay. So sure, I do prevent them from wandering off too far, and I do try to keep them away from town centers a little bit. But at the end of the day, you know, I just let them run in. So it looks like I stopped building for a bit here. I'm clicking up to Castle Age, which is too late, right? You'll see the resources I have, 600 food. I probably could have clicked up a while ago. And you'll see they have crossbowmen now. That's pretty much going to do in the feudal rush. Now I am ahead. Only had a couple hundred points, although I did just click up to Castle Age. So we should expect that to jump up once I reach it. So I now have 4 barracks up. I'm building a 5th. 29, 30 on farms. 11 on gold. So I am building my economy behind this, right? I am working hard to do that. This is, you know, around my capability. I am getting house blocked, so point that out. My food is back down, which is good. And hopefully at this point, I add farms pretty well. Can't see economy upgrades. Literally walk under this town center. This is enough men-at-arms, 27 there, to just knock it over. So at this stage, I'm just going to... we've hit castle. There's no plan for Imperial Age. I'm just going to plow forward and destroy as much as I can. So I'm probably setting... Let's see. Yeah, so you can see the barracks are set to just deliver units right to their front line. Those units will hopefully just move forward and start attacking buildings. There's definitely damage to be done back here. So I've already destroyed their siege workshop, 1 town center. It'd be nice to destroy the stable. And it'd be nice to take out the archery ranges. I believe at this point I have both attack and defense upgrades in the Castle Age, so the silly monk. And I am now at Longswordsmen, right? So do I have... And there are 7 barracks. Now, as you can see, they're not producing consistently. I don't have too many more farms from before, so... Okay, I am adding a couple lumber camps for more efficient gathering of wood, which will hopefully kick some things into gear. But you can see the AI is not producing. They're producing 1 villager right now. And I'm producing 7 men-at-arms and a villager. So they are pretty limited in resources. Let's take a quick look. They actually have lots of wood, but almost no gold, right? So they had gold back here. They've been driven off that stone. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So without gold, they're pretty much done with archers. They're not going to be making knights. Let's head back to my view. Resources are not spiked out of control, which is good. I don't need 7 barracks, right? If I had, 4 or 5 and we're building consistently, I could probably keep my resources low. But simply put, at this level, more production buildings is better, right? I'd rather have more production and be able to keep my resources low than have my food spike because I can't make the units I want. At a higher level, one of those barracks could basically be 3 farms, right? 175 wood. Yeah, 175 wood is basically 3 farms worth of wood. So let's take out that stable. We're going to hack down their main TC. We found a TC at the back as well. And honestly, at this point, there's not a whole lot to see, right? The score, I'm ahead by almost 2,000 points. I'm just going to speed this thing up. Hopefully it continues spamming units appropriately. Production buildings going down. Monastery down. Blacksmith down. This is the game. There you have it. See the timeline, it is actually pretty even. They actually have a small advantage partway through feudal. They hit castle. I actually have an overall population advantage here, but once I hit castle, my military spikes, turn that into an overall population advantage, and it's just downhill from there. I did have a villager high, although I did destroy their town centers multiple times, but it's important to remember as you're doing this, you need to keep making villagers as actively as possible. Nothing too crazy to see here. I did hit feudal age first, but not too early, and obviously hitting castle age earlier would have been nice, but that was not part of the plan, so I'm not going to fault myself for that. In fact, I wish I spent that 600 extra food on more men-at-arms, and I'd love to see if I could do this in the feudal age against the extreme AI. Something else I find interesting when I've done this in the past is that the kill-death ratio is actually positive. So even though I'm taking all this town center fire, it does help that I am also killing villagers. But you might think it would be the other way, and I win anyway. But no, in fact, it's probably closer to about even. And then once you count the villagers that I've killed, it skews pretty heavily in my favor. And of course, buildings raised, which infantry are particularly good at doing, especially once you get the arson tech. And at the end of the day, if they have 17 counter units and you have 63 units that should be countered, you're still going to win. That's enough units, unless maybe it's knights versus skirmishers or something like that. With infantry, this is enough to pretty much kill anyone with that small of an army. If nothing else, I think I've at least shown that it's possible to bludgeon the extreme AI with one of the stupidest unit compositions around. As I mentioned, it wasn't trivial though. We did see that I was pushed back from my initial attack, forced to hit castle age. I had to be very diligent with my economy, and I was forced to micromanage my swordsmen in small ways. I couldn't just attack move them. I also had a somewhat efficient build order, and was prepared to lose for the sake of a stupid challenge. On the other hand, I did have some things going against me. I purposely let units die by not micromanaging them, I got house blocked multiple times, and I let my barracks idle here and there. I think there are actually a bunch of lessons in here. I'm kind of surprised this worked, to be honest. As I mentioned, I've done it before with civs that are better for it, but I didn't really expect it to work with the Byzantines. It's not actually clear that archers counter infantry without reasonable grouping and some minor micromanagement, which the AI doesn't have. Swordsmen may also be the only unit that can actually kill every other unit and destroy a base. Most units are either counter units good at only one thing, or are great units like archers but have gaps like being virtually unable to destroy buildings, or knights that are an amazing unit, but it's easy to look back and have lost all of them if you're not paying attention. If they aren't micromanaged, they can definitely go down, but not quite as quickly as a group of archers to a mangonel you didn't see. Now I'm curious what elo I would rise or drop to if I only made swordsmen. This has been Paragon RG. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.